यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णः यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम प्रजहाति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थ मनोगतान् आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञस्तदोच्यते. Lord Krishna explains the nature of a sthita prajna to Arjuna. When a seeker gives up all the types of material comforts and will remain immersed in the thoughts of the Supreme Being, and he will be considered as Sthita Prajna or the realizer of God by the grace of that Almighty. Dukkeshu anudvignamanaha sukeshu vigataspraha vitaraga bhayakrodhaha sthitadihi muniruchyate. He will be considered Muni when and if his mind will not be disturbed by the pains of this universe, and he will never expect any pleasure to come in his life. Vitaraga bhayakrodhaha, he will be free from all the desires, passions, fears and angers. So, that man, that indifferent man, is considered Muni. Yas sarvatra anabhisnehaha tattat prapya shubhashubham nabhinandati nadveshti tasya prajna pratishtita. In this world, it is known to all of us that we expect only good things to come our way and not the bad things. But a knowledgeable man will show no interest in any living or non-living thing. Though he faces so many lows and ups, pains and pleasures in his life, he appreciates nothing and hates nothing as well. It is known to us, all of us will expect only good things to happen in our life, not the bad things. We expect only good things, and when we experience good things, we, with our complete heart, appreciate those good things, and in the same way, when we face bad things, immediately we start hating those bad things. It is said in Mahabharata, Maranam Jeevitam Vapi Nabhinandati Nadveshti. A knowledgeable man, an indifferent Sthitaprajna man, will not appreciate the entire life, let alone the worldly pleasures. He won't hate the death also. As long as he continues to live, he will be doing his duties and will remain immersed in the thoughts of Supreme Being. And whenever the inevitable death comes his way, he happily receives it. So, if the entire life and death won't be able to disturb that great knowledgeable man, what is there to say about the worldly pleasures and pains? यथा संहरते चायं कूर्मोऽङ्गानीव सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. We can see a tortoise while facing its enemies or any external attack withdraws its limbs, his head and four legs. In the same way, the knowledgeable man withdraws all his sensual organs, jnanendriyas, from the external objects. In Upanishads, it is said, Paranchi khane vitranat swayambhoho. Naturally, all of our sensual organs and organs of action, karmendriyas and jnanendriyas, are created to be searching for external things. But a knowledgeable man prevents all those organs and withdraws them into his inner personality. So he will be safe from the external attacks. The tortoise also will be safeguarded from other animals and other people who try to harm it. The tortoise has a strong chip, probably the strongest natural shell over his body. So, no external attack can trouble it. In the same way, the shell of knowledge, jnana, the shell of detachment, vairagya, and the shell of devotion, bhakti, will safeguard a jnani from the external attacks. That is why the knowledgeable man is described here with an example of tortoise. विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसोप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. It is said in Upanishads that annamashitam tredha vibhajyate. The food we take in will be divided into three parts. The gross part, the external part, will become excretion, purisha or mala. Yaha madhyamaha tan mamsam. The medium part or the second part will become mamsa, the flesh of our body. Yaha anishthaha tan manaha. The subtle part of the food we take in will become our mind. So, the food we take in always becomes our mind. The food we take in will control our mind. In another word, a seeker, when starts doing meditation to control his body and mind, sometimes may give up taking food in. So, all of his sensual organs and organs of action, karmendriyas and jnanendriyas, naturally will lose their capacity of experiencing their objects. The capacity of the organs will be lost, but a deep desire, a deep mental desire to experience those things will never go. But once the seeker gains self and God realization, Atma-jnana, that natural desire to experience the external things will also be overcome. It can be understood here that the seekers can control their body but not their mind so easily. In order to control their mind, they will have to do a deep meditation, immersing their mind and soul in the Supreme Being itself. Abhyasena cha kaunteya prayatnena cha grishyate. With a great amount of practice and effort, the mind can be controlled and the natural desire to experience the external objects can be conquered. Yatatopyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini harante prasabham manaha. Krishna says, the sensual organs and the organs of action, karmendriyas and jnanendriyas, are so strong that they will disturb even a great knowledgeable man. His mind will be naturally, forcibly attracted towards experiencing the external things. This is the situation of a great knowledgeable man who is on his way to achieve self and God realization. And sometimes, even after attaining the realization or sakshatkara, their mind will be disturbed and they are seen experiencing the external objects. There are so many examples in stories of Ramayana, Mahabharata and Bhagavata about great knowledgeable men who accidentally lost their control over their minds. And the graph of their achievement suffered a setback. Among them, I can remember the story of a sage by name Saubhari. He was a great realized man. He immersed himself in water and continued his meditation. Once, probably by the will of Almighty Himself, he opened his eyes and saw a great family, a big family of a fish. There was a great fish who was surrounded by his wives, sons, grandsons, and so many other fishes. On seeing the family life of that fish, the mind of Saubhari got disturbed. He decided, I have to experience some pleasures of this material life. He decided to get married. Thereafter, he approached King Mandhata, who had 50 daughters. The sage asked Mandhata to give one of his daughters in marriage to himself. King Mandhata could not reject the offer given by the sage and said, I will take you to the place where my daughters are there. You can marry anyone who wants to marry you. The sage understood the intention of King Mandhata, and with his power of meditation, tapashakti, he gave up his body of old age and assumed another body of a young handsome man. As soon as those 50 daughters of King Mandhata saw this Saubhari, all of them jumped to their decisions to marry only him. King Mandhata had no other go and gave all those daughters to Saubhari in marriage. Saubhari took all those 50 wives and went to his hermitage, ashrama. Once, King Mandhata wanted to see the married life of his son-in-law and his daughters. He came to the ashrama of Saubhari, but unfortunately could not recognize the place itself. There were 50 great mansions, and all of his daughters came out to receive their father. It was clear to King Mandhata that the sage, with his tapashakti, the power of meditation, had manufactured 50 great palaces and kept all of his wives in their respective palaces. He himself assumed 50 forms of young handsome men and enjoyed a happy life of a householder. After experiencing all these worldly pleasures, one day it dawned to him, Aho chirasamhritam tapaschiranam. I had gathered a lot of power of meditation, but I used that entire power in my married life. We know nothing can be got free of cost in this world. The sage, Saubhari, had no job, no business, no agriculture and other source of livelihood. for himself. So, to create all those big palaces and to run those 50 palaces, to continue day-to-day life, he has nothing but his meditation, his power of meditation. So his tapashakti was lost. He got detached, virakta again, along with his 50 wives. He assumed the life of a vanaprastha and continued his sadhana, and at last gained salvation. Vishwamitra Parashara Prabhutayaha Vatambu Paranashanaha. We know that Vishwamitra, Parashara and so many other sages used to take only water, dried leaves and air as their food. But they were deeply and totally lured by the graceful manners of Apsaras like Menaka, Satyavati and others. Shalyannam sughritam payodadhiyutam bhunjanti ye manavaha tesham indriya nigraho yadi bhavet vindhya plavet sagare. This is the story of great sages. What about the laymen like us? We take all the types of sophisticated foods with ghee, curds, milks and so many other things. Can we attain control over our senses? If we people can control our senses, definitely the great mountains like Vindhya and Himalaya will easily float in the oceans. That means it is impossible to control our mind as long as we continue to experience the company of living things or non-living things in this world. So, it is essential to gain control over his senses for a seeker. Through a continuous practice only, he can be called Sthita Prajna, not otherwise. Here is a great message to all the aspirants of spiritual success. Let us see what Krishna has to say further in our next episode.